Good morning. Happy Friday. Um, Pretty nice weather here. Can't complain. I'm wondering where all the rain is that I expected. Uh, don't know. Maybe we're not going to get any. That's okay, I guess. Pardon me. I had one of those nights where it didn't feel like I was really sleeping, where you kind of like wake up and you're not sure what time it is and you realize it's like midnight or 2 in the morning or something. And I don't know. Usually when that happens, then I'm super tired. Like, you're really ready to have a good night's sleep at about 6 o'clock in the morning or something. But not today. Today I was up. So. Good morning, Dora. So this is Father's Day weekend. Um, I don't know if you still have father around. It's nice to do something for them. My Now that my kids are grown, they should be doing Father's Day for themselves. But I always make sure that I remind them and prod them a little bit uh, to do something. My husband usually doesn't. He usually kind of lets them be on their own for Mother's Day, which with mixed results. Some years it's pretty good. Some years, it's clear everyone forgot until the very last minute. But it is what it is, right? Sadly, my husband and well, I'm not so much me, although yeah, sometimes because our birthdays and fall right around the same time. So there's Mother's Day, then my birthday is early in June, then his birthday is like a week later, and then comes Father's Day. So by the time Father's Day comes around, everyone is just like sick of finding gifts and you know parties. I mean, not that you could be sick of parties, but just the whole thing of, what am I going to get for this and that? So I feel like he kind of gets a little a little shafted, and he usually gets stuff like a grill or a lawnmower, something something that everybody needs, but he's going to have to use, right? So I don't know. I guess that's how it is when you're grown up. All right. Well, we can get started. So, we're talking about the seventh of the eight limbs. Is that right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, tomorrow. Well, that's okay. Tomorrow will be the eighth one. So if you're not here on Saturday, um, I'll talk a little bit about that because I think not as many people come on Saturdays. Um, okay, so I was saying that like the last three kind of fit together. So we've got Dharana, which is what we talked about yesterday. Dhyana, which is basically meditation, and that's what the seventh limb is. And then the eighth limb is samadhi, which is that state of enlightenment, sort of, and connection that we are kind of, our goal is moving towards that. So Dhyana is what we're going to talk about today. Um, and Dhyana really doesn't exist by itself. It's in the midst of these two other things. Um, and when we say, let's say we sit down to meditate, we don't immediately jump into dhyana. We start at dharana, right? So dharana is like the beginning of your meditation, where you are trying to focus the mind, trying to really, well, you could even say pratyahara is the beginning of meditation. I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess so. Um, but yeah, we begin, kind of moving away from the everyday stuff. We're drawing inward. And then dhyana kind of arises naturally. We don't have to do anything, right? Dharana, we are focusing. We are trying to keep our mind focused on sort of one thing or an image, something to still everything down. Um, and as a result, the next thing that sort of arises naturally is the state of dhyana, where we aren't really concentrating on anything. We are um, aware and awake, but there is kind of an emptiness, um, or let's say like a quietness. So if you are meditating and you are in that state of dharana, where you are concentrating on something, and you have a pause, and you have a space where nothing, you've entered that state of dhyana. And you may only stay there for a few moments or a few minutes, before a thought pops up, or um, and then so we basically use dharana as the tool to get to dhyana. So if we are concentrating on our image or our mantra, we enter this state of peace, and then all of a sudden we think about, what am I going to make for dinner? Okay, now we go back to dharana, back to our image, back to our mantra, and we start again until another thought pops up or something, distracts us. Um, so that's kind of how that process works. Right? So if we can say about how we are doing in class, maybe in shavasana, we start in dharana, right? So we are breathing, we're trying to relax, but we're keeping our focus on something in the room, something in our breath, our body. Right? Whatever focus you want to have, we're working in a dharana state. And as we do that, you may experience that sort of quietness and that peace, right? That emptiness, quiet feeling. Then you're moving into dhyana. Right? From there, it's possible that we may kind of experience a little samadhi, right? Where so samadhi, the movement into samadhi is that quiet feeling becomes very big. It becomes very expansive, and you you have a connection. You can feel the connection with the world, with the universe. Um, it's usually a very strong. It comes with a very strong feeling of well-being, um, of maybe euphoria. People feel very joyful and very at peace but in a very kind of big way. Everybody experiences it a little differently, and you may not have experienced that at all, or you may have felt like you did just for a second. Again, it's not a state that we stay in for a long period of time, generally speaking, right? I mean, people who are very spiritually advanced, Um, so the goal is to, we've done this so much, we've gotten so far with this, that we are in samadhi all the time, right? We hold it in our body and we are aware and joyful all the time because we are in samadhi. Um, that's a big goal. That's I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. um, I mean, I know people have gotten there, but that's a lot, right? Um, but what we are talking about again is it's a state of being. Um, so we are, even in a small way, we are carrying that. We're building, right? We're building a structure within, for all of this to abide. And um, as you go along, when you first start, that structure is going to look like a shed or a hut. It's not going to be very, it's going to be very basic. But as you progress, you may add on more to it. Make it becomes more elaborate, more um, useful, right? Better, a better structure. Um, so that is to say that it's a perfectly functional structure when you begin. Um, it just gets better as you improve. So it's not an all or nothing thing. It's not like, oh my God, I have not achieved samadhi and I'm gonna, what a waste my life has been. No, it's a process. Most of us will touch onto samadhi, um, and it's a reminder, right, of where we came from and where we are going. So, but yeah, so it's the seventh limb, Dhyana, meditation. It's our tool. It's a tool for getting where we want to go. It's a tool for quieting the internal voice, the noise, the chatter in your brain. Um, it's also a tool, and I'll probably post some links about this. Oh, I mean, people go crazy about meditation. Just they talk about how great it is, and every few years there'll be a whole bunch of studies that'll come out about how people have, lowered their cholesterol, lowered their blood pressure, done all these one. And I mean, I'm making a joke out of it, but it's not a joke. I mean, it literally, you can uh, you can achieve physiological change in your body from meditation, which is pretty cool. Um, but I mean, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and it's a lot of consistency, right? Um, you don't just sit down and do it once and you're you're all set. It has to be a practice. So I know a lot of people are reluctant to kind of get into meditation. They think it's just sitting, and I mean, to some extent, it's correct. Um, but it's just sitting like yoga is just stretching, right? So people that think uh, meditation is just sitting are also like, well, yoga is just stretching. Yeah, I can just touch my toes and I'm doing yoga. Well, I mean, yes and no. Um, so I would heartily recommend that if you have never done any meditation per se, I'd give it a try if I were you. I have if you have if you need meditation cushions, if you don't have any, I was just gifted a set of a bunch from somebody who used to have a yoga studio, doesn't have one anymore. Um, so they're very helpful and they're really nice way to sit on the floor. So if anybody needs one of those, and you can let me know, and maybe we can figure out some way to drop it off or do something like that. But you don't have to have one. I mean, they're nice, but honestly, you can sit anywhere. People sit in a chair, which is fine. I mean, I'm always telling you to sit on the floor, and I think it's going to help you more to sit on the floor. But if sitting in a chair is where you're at right now, then sit in a chair. But just take a little time. And again, just like a lot of things we talk about, consistency is key. And if you could do it for 5 minutes, pick a time where you could do that consistently every day for 5 minutes, and then maybe 10 minutes. Set a timer. You know, there's lots of different timers, little apps you can get for your phone. You could use a kitchen timer. You could use your phone timer, anything. One of the things I think is so interesting about meditation, especially when you first start, is how it teaches you how elastic time is. So we think of time as very set and linear. And I mean, it is, right? I mean, it's a certain number of seconds, and it goes as it goes. But our perception of time is so different based on what we're doing. So, 5 minutes when you're playing a game on your phone disappears in no time. But when you're sitting doing meditation, you will think 10 times that your phone is broken. Why hasn't the timer gone off? It has to have been 5 minutes. So having that feeling really, it really helps us to understand how our perception of things changes them so greatly. And that in itself is a worthwhile thing to experience, I think, from meditation. And you will, because there's some days, 5 minutes doesn't seem like much, but some days sitting still for 5 minutes is very, very hard. But it's a good practice. We're building tapas. So we talk about tapas, building them with asana, building that strength and that willpower. Meditation will also build your tapas, right? Because it's, again, you're doing something which is probably not what you would normally do, right? You are sitting, concentrating. It takes a fair amount of effort to get that done. So give it a try. Try it for a week, 5 minutes a day. See how you feel. See how you feel from the first day to the last day, and how it changes. If it's easier, if you feel like it's harder some days than the others. I don't, meditation is, you don't have to meditate to do yoga, but I think people that skip it really are missing out on a pretty important chunk of what we're trying to do here. But that being said, you may have times in your life where it's just not appropriate. You don't feel comfortable sitting. You don't feel comfortable trying to focus your thoughts. So give yourself, permission to take breaks from it if you need to. But even when we're going through hard times, mentally or physically, and sometimes we don't really want to be alone with our thoughts, right? So this is the perfect thing. People think, okay, well, meditation, I'm going to be alone with my thoughts, and I have a lot of dark thoughts right now. I don't want to go there. Well, that's why meditation is so great, because you are focusing not on those thoughts. In fact, you're learning how to not focus on those thoughts, how to control what you do think about, so that you get to choose what is primary in your mind. It's not your mind just kind of randomly saying, oh, okay, today we're just going to think about all the terrible things that might happen tomorrow. And you can say, when you have worked on, your dharana and getting that focus, you can say, yeah, we're not doing that. No, that's gone. We're going to think about this today. So in the hardest of times, mental focus, building that mental strength is of supreme importance. So it's as good a time as any, and probably better than some, to get started on meditation. Okay, so that's number 7. We're going to do some asana. And I did say what number 8 is, samadhi, right? So now you know all of them, um, in case you aren't tuning in tomorrow. Sitting up tall, take your breath. Let's bring that focus inward. So the practice of asana is also can be sort of dharana, right? We're focusing on the breath, on the movements in the body, trying to keep the mind here on the mat, present in this space, setting aside random thoughts as they come up. Right? So in that sense, our practice is dharana. And then when we get to the end, to the shavasana, it's easier to then move into dhyana because we've already spent all this time focused on our dharana. In theory. Take a breath in. And then chin down toward the chest. Relax. Let the head hang. And then we're moving the head around. Big circle. One way and then the other. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Try not to reach up the shoulder blades. Back to center. Take a breath in, and then let's lean forward. We're going to walk the hands out in front. Coming back up, let's interlace the fingers behind your back. Set the hands down, gazing up. And then release. Hands out by your side. Take a breath in here and then exhale. Hands together. Inhale wide. And exhale. Inhale wide. And exhale. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the arms high. We're gazing up. And then arms come down by your side. Let's lift the shoulders. Roll back. And forward. Goalpost arms. Take a deep breath. And then we're just turning the shoulders to the right. Back to center. Take a breath. Moving left. And back to your center. Arms overhead. We're going to bring the right arm down, reach across with the left. Switch. Back up. Tabletop. we're going to sit back on the heels, child's pose. Moving back up, tabletop to downward dog. Walk it out a little. And stepping the feet up toward the hands. Let's be in a fold for a few breaths. Rising up slowly. Standing tall. Deep breath in and out. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. One more. Inhale, lifting up halfway, or you could come all the way up. Upward dog. Moving back to downward dog. One more breath in, and then on the exhale, stepping the right foot up. Drop the knee on the left, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Moving back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Once more. Lifting up, head and chest, or upward dog. Back to downward dog. One more deep breath and then stepping up. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lift on the inhale. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Turning to the side, so we're facing side of the mat. Hands at the waist. Take a deep breath. Lean forward. So you can bring the hands down however you want. Breathe. And hands back to the waist. We're rising up. Use that strength in the legs. Take a breath. Let's walk the feet in. So we're about shoulder width. Hands together. Take a deep breath. Bend the knees. Lower down. Back up. And release. Walk the hands in, bicycle out the legs, arms up overhead. And back to mountain. Let's do a couple of balance. You can do tree. Standing on the left, we've got the right foot doing its thing wherever you want. Right knee rotating out to the side, nice and upright, shoulders back. Hands to center, getting that steadiness. And then if you want to extend, you can for sure. Keep breathing. And then back to center. Let's switch sides. So now we're standing on the right. We've got the left foot wherever you want it to be. Rotate the knee out to the side. Nice and upright, shoulders back. Hands might stay to center. You could extend if you're feeling real steady today. That's good. But don't try to, don't think holding the arms up is going to help you, because it won't. It'll just make you more top heavy, right? And then just bring everything back. We'll bicycle out the legs. And then we're going to just bring your hands on the hips. We've got feet about, shoulder width apart. And we're going to lift up the right leg. And then we're going to set it down. And we're going to lift it a little close here. We're going to lift it behind us. So we're not really going too far with this, just maybe about as far as you lifted in the front. And then bring it back down. Switch sides. We're lifting the left. And bring it down, lifting in the back. So if this is hard, if you find yourself losing your balance, you can always touch the toe down, right? And then try lifting it for a few seconds. Or, touch onto a wall if that helps you stay steady. And then just bringing the foot back down, bicycle out the legs. And come on, up to the top of the mat, arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're stepping back. Downward dog. Forward on the inhale to high plank, and then lower all the way down. Head turns right. Arms by your side. Take a few breaths. Bring your head to center. We're going to flip the palms so they're resting on the mat. Tops of the feet resting on the mat. And then we're going to start lifting up, head and chest, arms and legs. Lower down, head turns to the left. Head back to center. Moving up, tabletop to child's pose. Maybe bring the knees a little wider than you might normally do. And lower down. Back up. Tabletop to downward dog. And walk your feet up a little. Come on down to a seat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. And then folding forward. Hinging from the hips. We're bringing that upper body down in a nice flat line. Come back up. Let's bring the legs wide. Deep breath. Fold forward. Moving back up. Bring the feet a little closer so we're about the width of the mat. Right foot in by the thigh. Take a breath, and then we're turning here to face that left leg. Deep breath in, fold forward. And walk the hands back up. Switch sides. Turn here, deep breath, fold forward. Walk the hands back up, both legs out in front. Take a deep breath, fold forward. And then moving back up, let's flex and extend the feet a few times. Just kind of loosening up the ankles a little. And maybe do some rotations. So it doesn't really matter how you do these. We're just going to do them kind of one way for a few, and then reversing. Then bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Give yourself some room to lower down or rock back. And let's bring the knees into the chest. We can make some circles with the knees. One direction for a bit and then reversing back the other way. And set the feet back down. Let's walk the knees to the outer edges of the mat. Just bump or walk the feet to the outer edge of the mat. The knees sort of bump together in the center. So this is a very neutral position for the lower back. If you ever have issues with the lower back, sometimes this is a very comfortable way to rest. And then from here, we're going to move into supine pigeon. So we've got the right ankle on top of left knee. You might stay here, press the knee away if your right hip is feeling kind of tight. Or we're going to draw the left thigh in towards the chest. Breathe. And then set it down. Let's switch. So whatever you did on one side, we'll do the same on the other. Setting both feet down on the mat again. Ready for bridge. Heels back close to the body. Hands by your side. We're going to press down. Hands and feet lifting up. And lowering back down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Bring the knees to center. Rock a little side to side. And then arms out to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to start lowering both knees over to the right. Moving back to center with the knees. Then they go left. Gazing right. Back to center. Extend the legs. Hands by your side. Take a breath. And then we're lowering. However you want to get there. Bringing the legs down onto the mat. and finding a comfortable place for Shavasana. So focusing on the breath and the sensations in the body, keeping you here focused on what's happening right now in this place. So after the asana and working that focus through the asana, the idea is that we can slip more easily into dhyana. Right? We've done some dharana already with our practice, keeping our focus, keeping our attention here. So then moving to the next step, it may be a little easier from Shavasana. And if you find thoughts are creeping in, come back to your dharana, right? Whatever that is. Maybe it's the breath or the body, or maybe you have that mantra or image that you carry with you as your focus. Anything that works for you is fine. It brings our attention back. And we may then move into dhyana. Dhyana is that quiet, that emptiness, but not in a bad way, a very peaceful emptiness, almost like a floating sensation. And if you experience that for a few moments and then a thought comes up, just go back to whatever that focus is for you. Focus on that again. So we're never trying to force ourselves into that state of meditation. It arises when we're ready, when we have gotten to that place through the use of dharana, our focus. So just like our poses, we're going to move to where we can move. We're not going to force anything. We're not going to try to go too far thinking that this more is better. Well, it's not really. Better to take things as they come naturally, as kind of things organically grow in the body. It isn't a race or competition. It isn't, um, there's no time limit or requirement. We just explore how it works for us. So when you're ready, moving again, coming back into our state of regular consciousness and awareness, and coming up to a seat. If you're not already there, we'll bring hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning for yoga and for sharing it with us here. I hope you have a really lovely Friday. Namaste. Okay. Well, thank you for attending. Hi, Ruth. I don't think I said hi to you before. Um, I hope you guys have a good weekend. If I don't see you Saturday, I will be here. But it's sometimes you like a weekend day off. So if you don't come tomorrow, it's fine. um, okay. So I don't know what I'm gonna do today. Something I might work on the shed. I bought stuff at the garden or at Lowe's for the garden, which is crazy. Like I don't even know why I did that because I kind of had given up on the garden. I thought, well, I'm not even going to do anything this year because it's so late. But when I was at Lowe's, there were so many things, like just a ton of plants. I was really like amazed, and they all look pretty good. So I guess everything is just running late this year. So yeah, so I bought a bunch of stuff, and now I got to get it in the ground so it doesn't die. Um, yeah, so I hope we get a little shade because of course, my garden's right out in this, straight out in the sun. So we'll see. I might work tonight. All right. Well, have a good day, and I will see you next time.